Let's jump right into this explainer, okay? We're going to unpack 5 strange, but honestly very real rules that are completely shaking up the landscape of the upcoming 2026 World Cup. I mean, if you thought the beautiful game was totally set in its ways, well, you're in for a massive surprise. We're looking at sweeping changes here. Stuff that affects literally everything, from how players speak to each other on the pitch to how you, the actual fan, are going to stay hydrated in the stands.
There's a quote that perfectly captures what we're about to explore. Some are strange, one is insane. All are real. And that really hits the nail on the head. These aren't just proposals floating around. These are definitive, locked-in changes happening right now. They're going to make this tournament fundamentally different from literally any World Cup that's come before it, whether traditional football fans are ready for it or not.
So, Section 1, Policing Pitch Behavior, which covers Rules 1 and 4.
We'll kick things off with Rule 1, and wow, this is a strict new standard for player conduct. So if a player covers their mouth, whether that's with a hand, an arm, or by pulling up their shirt during a confrontation, it's now an automatic red card, no questions asked. Why? Well, authorities basically want to stop players from hiding discriminatory comments from lip readers and stadium cameras. Actually, a pretty high-profile incident in the Champions League last season accelerated this exact decision. But here's the catch. Doing that exact same physical action while you're just chatting with a friend on the opposing team, completely fine. So same exact physical action, totally different outcome depending entirely on the context.
Which naturally brings us to the big question. How does the referee decide this in real time? It's kind of an impossible situation, right? Imagine being the official right in the middle of a chaotic, high-stakes World Cup match. You literally have a split second to decide if a player covering their mouth is maliciously hiding a toxic comment during an argument or, just innocently telling a joke to a former club teammate. The pressure on these referees to interpret intent on the fly is going to be absolutely astronomical.
Okay, moving on to Rule 4, and it involves everyone's absolute favorite topic, VAR. Video assistant referees now have significantly expanded powers. They can now actively check for fouls committed before a corner kick is even officially taken, meaning if an attacker pushes a defender while jockeying for position before the ball is in play, VAR can step right in and reverse the corner entirely. Plus, VAR can now correct mistaken identity. So, if a ref flashes a yellow or red card to the wrong player in a super crowded penalty box, VAR is officially empowered to step in and fix the mistake. A real game changer.
Let's move to Section 2, Surviving the Summer Heat. This covers Rules 2 and 3.
Rule 2 brings us to the number 3. It mandates a strict 3-minute water break around the 23rd minute of each and every half. And yes, this applies to every single match in the tournament. The reason? Simple and pretty much unavoidable. Extreme summer heat. Because so many of these matches are being played in the scorching heat of the United States summer, officials have deemed it physically necessary to just pause the game right in the middle of each half.
Now, the tension here really comes down to 2 very distinct viewpoints. On one side, FIFA adamantly defends these breaks. They see them as a totally non-negotiable requirement for player safety in extreme weather. Makes sense, right? But on the flip side, critics and football purists are extremely angry about it. They argue this is artificially turning the beautiful game into 4-quarters football. And since managers are inevitably going to use this pause to give tactical instructions, it essentially becomes a free timeout. Furthermore, the cynics out there argue this is just a highly convenient excuse to create more lucrative advertising breaks for broadcasters. Now, to be clear, that's a claim that FIFA entirely disagrees with.
And that leads us to Rule 3, which has honestly sparked the most immediate pushback so far. So initially, FIFA banned fans from bringing any outside reusable water bottles into the stadiums, basically telling them they had to buy official sponsor water inside. Remember, this is during extreme summer heat. While the immediate aftermath was entirely predictable, furious backlash from fan groups. It was a complete PR nightmare. So within just a few days, FIFA rapidly flip-flopped, issuing a partial reversal to allow fans to bring in one small sealed plastic bottle. However, a glaring contradiction still remains. While single-use plastic bottles are now allowed, reusable, environmentally friendly metal flasks still strictly banned under stadium safety protocols. Make it make sense, right?
All right, on to Section 3, the Super Bowl treatment. This is Rule 5.
Rule 5 dictates that the World Cup final, which is arguably the biggest, most watched single match in the entire history of global sport, will feature a full Super Bowl-style halftime concert taking place directly on the football pitch. Yeah, you heard that right. This has literally never been done at a World Cup final before.
And once again, we're seeing a really clear dividing line here. FIFA's reasoning is completely transparent. They view this massive spectacle as absolutely necessary to attract and engage new American audiences. Fans who have grown up expecting a huge entertainment event right in the middle of a championship game. But on the flip side, the football purists, actually the exact same fans who fiercely oppose the water breaks we just talked about, are incredibly unhappy. They view a mid-game pop concert on the pitch as a huge commercialized shift away from traditional football culture. Because traditionally, halftime is for deep analysis and catching your breath, not pyrotechnics and backup dancers.
So, to try and mitigate this outrage, FIFA has issued a very specific halftime promise. They assure fans that while it will be a full Super Bowl-style spectacle right there on the pitch, it will actually be shorter than a standard 15-minute football halftime. Now, how exactly they plan to build a stage, perform a global pop concert, and dismantle the whole shebang faster than players can even drink a cup of tea, well, that is a huge logistical hurdle. Ultimately, football fans around the world are going to be the final judges of whether that promise is truly kept.
But honestly, make no mistake, this unprecedented spectacle is totally set in stone. Mark your calendars for July 19th. It's happening at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. That's the date of the final, and this concert is going ahead whether traditional fans like it or not. It is a bold, unyielding step into a totally new era for the tournament.
Finally, Section 4. Will fans accept this? Subtitle: The Future of Football.
Over the 39 days of this upcoming tournament, the entire world is going to be watching very, very closely. We will all be witnesses to find out if these modernizations and commercial shifts actually succeed in elevating the game or, well, if they backfire spectacularly.
Ultimately, you really have to ask yourself a difficult question. With automatic red cards for covered mouths, mandated four-quarters-style water breaks, lingering bans on reusable bottles, expanded VAR interruptions, and a full-blown Super Bowl halftime show, does the traditional soul of the game remain intact? Is FIFA destroying the culture of the sport, or are they simply doing what is necessary to adapt to a changing global audience and a changing climate? Keep your eyes peeled, everyone, because the beautiful game is evolving right before our very eyes.